Okay, now what is the next thing guys I want to do here? Let's go and create the pie chart now. Okay, now why I want to first of all create the pie chart, and pie chart is going to use what? This is important thing. Okay, now guys, see what happens when you create a pie chart. First of all, let's go and you know create the pie chart. For example, I copy this, we will come back to this, I go and paste it here. Okay, now I want to show you when you create the pie chart how it looks like. So I go and create this pie chart, and this is how the pie chart looks like, right? Quite different from the donut chart, but the concept remains the same. It also shows the things in the percentage. You can see here it says that 2004 the value 36%. Automatically it calculates the percentage. If you go here, it shows 21%. If you go here and says 36% year 2004. So the same concept guys. Now what is the idea? What is that secret which people actually use in the speedometer? Guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this to a needle. Needle means a very small in terms of the area. If I just go and put it here as 2, for example, look at this, what's going to happen. Can you see that? This is just a 2. This is just a 2% of the entire area. And this is what the going to work as your that arrow sign. This is what exactly it is, this area. So this is nothing, this is not exactly a needle or pointer. This is a pie chart. This is a area, that 1% of that pie chart, which is going to give you that kind of a feel that it is gonna work like a needle, on your speedometer. So if I go and further and write this as 1, you see that that's how it looks like. So what I will do, I will go and select this. I go here and I say no fill. I go and select this, and again I say no fill. Can you see that? Again I go and select this area and I say no fill. Finally, what is left guys? Your needle, right? So two more important things you should know. How you gonna make sure that when you write here something, your needle should work according to this range, because remember this is a donut chart. This is coming from this data, so how are you gonna fix that the pie chart into this, so that the pie chart needle, that 1% shows you exactly where exactly you are, I mean that sort of thing. So let's go and merge that thing now in the pie chart. Okay, first of all guys, to make the pie chart, you have to make sure that when you write the pie chart, here you're gonna write here, maybe this is going to be my performance, for example. 3 things you will create, and this is going to be your needle. Okay, and then here what are you gonna write? Here you're gonna write total. Okay, now this is your performance, this is your total coming from this donut chart. So the pie chart, what it will do, this is going to be 1. This always remains as 1. Max you can create 2 as well in order to increase the width. For example, if you go and say that arrow I want it to 3, you see that the width will increase, but that doesn't give a good impact. So maybe you can go and say 2. That's fine, but I prefer, most of the time people prefer it as 1, so that it should look very thin, just a 1% of that pie chart. Okay, so I keep it here as 1. What is my performance? Now performance guys is what you want to show here. Okay, so I go and say that my performance is going to be, let's say 50. Okay, this is the main area. This will tell you the performance. Rest all the things are just your criteria, your basically the parameters, right? So my performance is 50 and the needle will have a 1% of that, right? So what is going to be the total guys? So what do you want the total? In the total, what you do, you say that this entire thing, you sum this entire thing. Okay, this is going to be subtracted from this. Finally you have here 229. Okay, if you go and add all these values, what are you gonna get guys? If I'm summing them, you can see here it says 280 is exactly the double of this 140. Are you getting the point now? This is the logic. When I go and create the pie chart on this, suppose if I go and create the pie chart on this, let's go and quickly click on this. You can see that this is how, guys, this pie chart is going to work. Let me show you. This entire portion, this one, okay, this is going to be removed. We will give this no color, and this area as well. Right now you can't see here the needle color, but it is there because it's just a 1%. If I go and change this to 10, you can see that it's coming here as well. So this is the logic. I'm going to merge this, with this my donut chart, and then what we will do, we will go and select this, and we will go and select this and make them invisible. Only this needle will show. Now here also I want to tell you something very, very important, guys. How this entire thing works, basically what happens, because you have added the entire the performance, which is your this entire donut chart, including this invisible slab also, and then finally you are subtracting the performance in the needle. What is going to be left is what you're gonna actually going to make it invisible, so that these numbers should come on the top, this one and this one, which is your performance and the needle. And then performance will also, once you give this movement, once you turn this to the 270 degree, this entire thing will merge here, and this will also start coming, showing on the top. And then we will go and hide this. Now the idea behind putting this needle after the performance is that because this is just a 1%, so what happens, or maybe let me create here 2 for the time being. What happens basically when you show your performance as 50, it's not exactly giving you the 50, but after 50 you get this 2. So what happens, the user will get the kind of that feel that it's actually showing the correct performance, but it is exactly not that, but still it is very much close because you're just using the one value here. So after you cover this 50 area, it shows the only the 1% of this total, which means actually what? Which means that it's almost showing you the performance, right? Now many times when you do one thing, for example, I convert this to 10. Now sometimes what happens, as a beginner, you may go and write here needle first and then performance. This is absolutely wrong. For example, you say 50 is my performance, and just to explain you, I say that needle, the size of that my speedometer needle is going to be 10. Now see that how it is going to impact this pie graph. Now because you have written the needle before the performance, now before this performance, this needle is going to come, which means it is not going to show you the correct value. Why? Because if I say that I have achieved 50%, that means my 50%, this is my area. So if you look at the end point of this area, this is the end point. This is the beginning line. This is the beginning line, and this is the end line. So basically when you say 50%, that means your needle should come here, not before it. It should come after it. Okay, because something which you have achieved, you will go and check the end point of it, where it is stopping. That's why make sure you write the performance first, and then you write the needle size. Okay, so if I go and write here like this 10, and I go and write here, let's say 30, now you can see that this is basically my 30. If I go and create the 80, you can see that this is my 80 portion, and this is the needle is coming after the performance, which means that if I go and hide this particular area, I select this and I go and say no fill, and I go and select this area as well, this one, the bigger one, the total one, and I say that no fill. You see that that's how basically your needle is now looking like. So now it says that this is the 80%. It's not coming before the performance. It should always come after the performance. Okay, so that's the point. Now let's go and delete this, and I will go and simply create that pie chart. Okay, now before I go and do that, maybe guys, if you want, you can go and convert this year 2001, year 2002, year 2003 and year 2004 to something else, because we want to show the performance in the sense good, excellent, worst, needs improvement, you know, that sort of thing. Okay, well, we will talk about that. First, let's go and create the pie chart here. Okay, so guys, what you need to do, you don't have to create the separate pie chart for this. You have to add the chart in this because you want to merge it. So what you do, you select this chart, right click here, and you know, select data, right? This is how we do, and you want to add the series. Now this is the donut chart series, which is coming from the numbers, and then you have all the year 2001, 2003. You say that I want to add. Okay, now what you basically want to add, you give it a series name, any series name you can give. Let's say give it a name called ABC. Okay, the value is going to come from where. Now what you have to do, you just go and select this entire thing. Okay, you go and select this, press OK, and now I beg your pardon, sorry, I should select only the data over here. Okay, I go and select this OK, and now once this is added, I press OK. Okay, don't do anything. You can see that another donut chart is created, the outer circle. Okay, but we don't need this as a donut chart because I told you we have to create a pie chart, because using the pie chart technique we can create that needle, okay, by making the other areas invisible. So I go and select this entire area. I select this. You have selected this. You can see here it is selected, the outer portion. If you have a doubt, go to the format and select this. You can see here series ABC is selected. This is what I have given the name. So when you go to the format, you find here the series number also. If I select the series number, you see that the inner donut chart is selected. So you can select from here also, right? It's all up to you. I select the series ABC. Now you can right click. I have been using the right click, so I go and say that format. I use the right click, and then I say that I want to basically change the chart type. You can change the chart type from here also. Okay, or maybe you can do one thing. You can go to the design, and from here also we can use the change chart type. This is a very common, I mean, this feature must be, I hope anyone who knows the charts, basics of the charts, they know that this option is there. I go and click on the change chart type, and now guys, because I'm using the Excel 2016 and I'm not sure about the 2013, but in 2010 and in 2007 you won't get this kind of a window. So no need to worry about it. You simply, when you go to the change chart type, just go and click on this pie chart, and the selected chart, donut chart, the outer chart will be converted to a pie chart. Okay, but in my case, what I will do, if you guys are using 2016, you go and select this and make sure you write here pie chart, the pie chart. Okay, and then one more thing you have to do, this numbers will remain in the donut and this ABC is going to be pie. You can see that this is now has taken the inner space as well, because pie always, it never actually creates this sort of area for you. Pi always go and fulfill the entire circumference of this a circle, so make sure you create this on the secondary axis. This is very important. Okay, now I click OK, and that's how now your chart looks like. It has completely overshadowed the donut chart, but that's perfectly fine. It's there, and once I go and make all these things invisible, guys, that will come. You want to see it? For example, I select this, just click it here again. Now you can see that this area is selected. The first time when you select, the entire chart gets selected, so you need to select it back. So now you can see that I'm going to say no fill, and the moment you say no fill, you can see that your chart starts looking, it's coming back, and this is what we needed it, right? Now we just have to create the needle for this. Okay, needle is already created here. You can see this. Let me, for the time being, just create this to maybe 12. Okay, so that we can see this is the needle coming here. So if I go and select this, this area as well, which is my you can see that the 80 value, which is my performance, I go and make my performance also no fill. Now you have created your needle, right? Now this needle, if I just go and say that it will have only the size of 1, it's not even visible. You can see here I'm going to make it 2 maybe, or maybe 3. So we will do some formatting and then it starts showing, but you can see that it's coming here, guys. But here we have one problem. Let me undo everything. Okay, now guys, you remember the needle was going, beyond the chart. Doesn't make any sense. Why? Because you have to move this first, the chart also. Okay, so what you do, you select this pie chart, you right click here and say that the format data point, and here also we have to change the angle of the first slide. Remember in the donut chart also I did this. I converted this to 270. So I'm just quickly going to drag this. This is how it is, right? That's how you convert this to 270. And now this entire portion, which is your performance and needle, this actually goes on the top of the chart. And this portion is now, it's coming in the lower portion actually. I mean, so this area, this the 80 value and this value as well, the value 2, this is going to actually now fix into the upper portion of the donut chart. That's why we are moving it, and that's how it works. Now let's quickly go and just select this area that we don't need it and just make this as no fill, and wonderful, this is how it looks like, guys. And you go and select this area as well, the portion which I do not need, which is my performance. Now you would be asking me again, wait a second, I need a performance. Well guys, the 2 number which is coming after this, this will show you the performance, because that's why we have written the performance first and the needle. So how the pie chart is going to bifurcate, it first first shows the 80 number and then the 2 number. Since there is no difference, I mean the 2 is so minute number, in fact you will convert it into 1 also, it's not gonna impact, it's not gonna tell the user that it's not actually 80 but it is 1. It's not going to give that ever, that feel. User won't be able to know that, right? Because this will have just a very minute portion of the entire the pie chart, right? So I go and before I do that, first you need to do a couple of things. Just go and change this to 10, because it's little hard for us to select this, because it is just at 2% on 1%. So for the time being, convert it into 10 so that I can at least select that option. Now come back here, select this area and make this invisible. There we go. Finally the speedometer is ready. We have to do a couple of things here. I go and select this because I've converted this to 10, so I can select this easily. That's the only reason I'm doing it. Now what you have to do is, you can see that the moment I convert this to 1, what happens, that disappears, because it's very thin actually. So we have to do something. We have to give this a bordering color. Okay, so what I will do, I select this particular area, I mean this my pie chart, the needle, and now you go to this area. Okay, the first thing which I will do, I will definitely go and give it a black color. So choose the solid color and give it a color from here. If you want to give any other color you can, but I will go with the black color. Okay, the second thing which I want to do, guys, here is, you can see the border. It has the automatic border, but I'm going to make it a solid line. And when I say that solid line, it should again be a black, so that the black should have a border of the black. You can see here the line is also generated. Okay, now further to this, there are some more options. You can see that cap type, flat, joint type, and then the width. So if you can check the width, this is how the width is gonna look like, right? Well, I certainly don't like this option, so I keep it as maybe 0 point. Okay, now I'm done with this. I click outside. That's how it looks like. Now let's go and keep this as 1. The moment you keep this as 1, now you can see one thing. The first thing is, if you remember when I written the 1 few minutes back, it was not even showing because there was no border actually. But right now the border is coming, but still I don't have this exactly this sort of color, the complete the black color, because some of the outer portion, the border is not giving me the correct picture. I mean, it's actually little I can say, you can see the little of the formatting basically is not so dark. Okay, so what I will do now, I will go and increase the font this to, let's say, 4, so that I can select this. Sorry, just a 4. Now I go and select this, or you can give it maybe, I mean, any size. Make sure you should be comfortable with that. You should be able to select that. We go in the format data point, and now So we have to actually remove the, this outer, the white bordering. And guys, if you remember in the donut chart also we did this. This is what? This is basically the other, the portions of the pie chart which you have made it invisible. So go over there and select that one by one. So this is my first area. Okay, now first what I will do to make this, to make you give this, to explain you properly, the first thing which I will do is I go and select them again. I go and give it a color. So just select that and give it a maybe this color. That's okay. Now you see that basically this is when this is joined with this needle, I make this needle once again 10. You can see that this is basically that border area between these two different portions, which is not giving us that good effect. So we have to merge that gap, we have to fill in this gap like we did this in the donut chart. Okay, so that's the only thing which is left. And similarly for this, when you select this portion, you can change the color to this, let's say yellow. Click back here again and go and just give this is the color, right? This is you're coming back to your pie chart. Okay, so first what I do, I go and select this area. I click here, I right click and say format data point, and now go here in this option, and in the border now you can see here we should say no line. The moment I click on the no line, you can see that that white line is disappeared. Now I'm telling you so many minute things. I think what is happening in the background, why do you need the this formula here, and what is the role of this 140, and then how you basically when you merge this the donut and the pie chart, how the entire thing works, what is why we convert this to 270, change the angle of the slice. So I think I have explained you everything today. So this is done. Same way you select this portion also. Now I've selected this ABC series 80%. I again go and say no line. The moment I do that, you can see that now this line and this line, these two areas which are joined by these two different performance and the total, they are now basically overlapped, right? Because there is no line. Now you go and just say no fill. Ideally you should have done this before making it no fill, but this is a live video, so that's how you get sort of these things. Now I say no fill. Now you have your proper needle coming, and now I go and make it 1. Wonderful, guys. You have your finally the speedometer ready, right? Now obviously, if I write here something like, let's say 50, it is showing me somewhere here, but what it tells, this speedometer tells me nothing, because this is something a different data, right? I've just created something, but you can convert that, okay, because your formula is already in place. Okay, you are already totaling the things here, right? Remember, when you create the donut chart, to put the 50% data on the top and the 50% on the below, you must sum this. You must sum this and put the value here. It should not happen that that you can write here anything. For example, if I go and write here something called 340, look at this chart. It's going to destroy that all the meaningful things which you have inserted, right? Because you must make sure that the sum of this should come here. Okay, that is how it is. Now the next question comes, so can I change the values? Of course you can change the values if you go by the logics, right? Now for example, I say that this is poor performance. Okay, this is poor performance, and then this is I would say that a good performance. This is excellent, and this is superb, sort of this thing, right? Now you can see here that all the things are coming here: poor, good, excellent, superb, and you have everything in in the proper place. So if this area, my needle falls in this area, it's gonna say that it's not actually it's poor, it's not superb, it's not excellent, right? So how people is going to understand this? It says that definitely it is better than good, but in the excellent area also, I mean, it is still moving. I mean, it's covering, right? The moment I make this to 60, you see that it is moving. So now we are going more towards the excellent side, right? We are covering the area. And if I go and say that it's gonna be, let's say, the 70, you can see that this is going to show you as 70. And if I move this to, let's say 80, if I write here 80, you can see that this is going to be further moving. But guys, now again, one more thing. Performance 80 means I should be showing in the superb area, isn't it? So this speedometer, it should, this needle should come here. Why it is coming here? Because, listen to this point carefully. Pause the video and you can also, try to find out the logic that what is the reason. If I am, let's say if I say 100, that means 100 is the best, right? But still it doesn't go in the superb area. When I say that 80 is the number which should show, if your performance is more than 80, it should be superb. So 100 means it should come here. No, it is not like that, because you have made you have to do some arrangements, you have to do some adjustments in your data. Now what happened, this speedometer is working according to the total of 190. So you write here 100, it does not impact. When you want to write here 190, only then the speedometer will go here and say that 190 is now fulfilled, because your total covering, these all the poor, good, excellent, they are taking 190 as a total. So obviously when you achieve 190, it goes here. So you have to go accordingly. Okay. So if you want this to, generally how it happens, when I have a value called 0, this needle show here, and when I got the 100%, then I should go and show my needle here instead of here. So definitely you have to create these numbers in a manner that the sum of this should come out as 100 if you want in that way. Otherwise you have to tell the user that this needle will show 190 when the performance is going to be 190, which means that's the maximum target. When this gets achieved, this needle will show here. Okay, but generally we create it always from the 0 to 100. So from the 0 to 100, if you want to create, you can convert these numbers again. So what you can do, this is your 10, this is your, let me keep it 20, let me keep this as 20, and finally you have 20, 20, 40, 50, and then this is going to be 50. Maybe that way. Okay, now once you have done that, guys, once you have done that, so your overall sum is 100, right? That means on the 10 area index poor, on the 20 index good, excellent. Again you are saying that, so excellent maybe can be 25 and this can be 45, isn't it? That's what I mean. You do decide the things. Now obviously the needle is not showing proper because you are going 190. So 190 does not make any sense. You should write here 100, right? Now you can see that now when I write 100, it shows the proper way. When I go and say the 0, it shows the proper way. And now the real test is going to be done on these numbers, right? Because I know that still we have some problem, and I want to actually tell you what exactly how you write these numbers, guys. Now see, understand, now you see that so what we are trying to say here, we are trying to say here that if the score is 0 to 10, or you can say that if the score is less than 10, then that actually should be marked as poor, right? That means 11 to 20 should be marked as needs improvement, and then further 21 to 25 needs good, and then later on that if the numbers are let's say between this after the greater than 26, then that has to be the superb. So basically here we have we have to put this in a proper order, because I'll show you. If you go here and put the performance 0, this is showing correct, but the moment you go and write here something, let's say 11, now when you press enter, now you can see here that it moves to the needs improvement area, which is looking good. But guys, if I go and change this to, let's say 26, okay, now what is the 26 number? 26 number is greater than good, right? So it should go in the superb area. So if I go and write here 26 and I press enter, you can see that it still shows me under the needs improvement area. So you have to also understand the data which you write. It's not that randomly you just put any number and then you try to make it the double of this in the total, and by doing that you will be able to make your speedometer. It is not like that. Understand, these are all the percentages, right? So this when you click on this this portion, when you look at this board, this basically shows you the 10 number, right? When you go and look at this area, this shows you basically the 20 number, right? So 20 plus 10 basically is your 30. Okay, so when you design the things, and if you have to show that, you know, my 25, anything which is between 21 and 25, that should show in the good area, then there is a plan for writing these numbers. What you have to do, because every portion is separate, right? So you write here 10, and then from the 10 portion it goes further, and you know, this shows as 20, and then this shows as 25, and this shows as 45. So you have to take the a calculation in your mind. For example, you create here a table, you see that, all right, so 0 to 10 is going to be, you know, I'm going to have my 0 to 10 over here, which is the poor. Now the next thing, you decide what you want to do. Now what should be the needs improvement area? It should be 11 to 22, let's say. So you go and write here 11 to 20. Okay, I just go and put the apostrophe here, 11 to 20, right? So that it should not accept this as a date. Now 11 to 20 is fine. Now guys, when you say that 11 to 20, so basically 20 is your maximum area, 20 is the highest point, right? So 10 is already covered. Now when the 10 is already covered, because this portion will take some space in your donut chart, right? So you have to, if you just want to show the 20, then this 10 is already covered, and then you just go and add 20, not the 20, but you just go and add the 10 to it, so that this 10 plus this 10, when they get added, it should show as cumulative sum, which is 10 plus 10. And because the reader, the user, is going to see this needle from here, not from here, right? So when I look at this needle, I basically see that how much area this needle has covered, this indicator sign has covered, right? So if I have to show this between 11 and 20, what I will do, I have already covered the 10, you know, which is the 10%. So now to cover the 20 number, 10, you subtract 20, 10 from 20, and you write here 10, right? This is how you write. Now you can see that this is actually starting moving. Okay, let's go further. First let's complete this, then we will have a look. Now what is a good number you want to give? Now as I said that, let's say we want to give this a good number from 21 to 25. So 21 to 25, I will write it here. Now guys, 20 you have already covered. When I say 20 you have already covered, I mean you have covered from the very zero level, your this entire portion I'm talking about, right? Because whenever the user see the graph, you see the graph from here, how much the area has been covered, right? What is the performance? Okay, so 20 is covered, and now what is left now? So if you have to show that the good part as 25, you subtract 20 from 25, and then so what is left is 5. Now when you go and write like this, so this 5, this 10, this 10, this is how, you know, this is where basically your good the area, this is the entire portion which is now covered, right? Now let's go to the superb area. Now in the superb area, what you want to do? Well, in the superb area, you want to say that, let's say anything which is greater than obviously 25, you know, and between 100, that is going to be my, you know, excellent, right? Excellent. So actually we should have given some good numbers, because good is doesn't look good here. If you have 100 marks, you know, and you're getting 25, it cannot be good. So we can go and further improve this. So instead of the need improvement counted as 11 to 20, we can go and make it 30. Okay, so 30 means that 30 minus 10, I'll make it 20. So this, and you know, this plus this will show us the needs improvement. And then further from here, I will further, you know, I'll go and I say that 31, from 31 to, let's say you want to show this as 31 to maybe 70. Okay, 31 to 70. So 31 to 70 means it should come as good. So if I have to cover this till 70, then 30 is already done. So what is left, guys? 70 minus 30, so 40 is left, right? When the 40 is left, and then here in your superb area, you write that 70 to 100, isn't it? 70 to 100, right? Or 71 to 100, basically that is the area which is left. So 100 minus, if you see this entire portion, this is 70, so this remains as 30, right? And that's how you have your sum as 100. And this is also, if you just go and see that, this is also, you know, this is the this and this, obviously this makes a lot of sense now, right? So we have prepared the speedometer basis the 100 point, right? And we said that now if you look at this, it says 26. Now if you see the graph, maybe you don't have to show this all to the user. You can just put this, you know, 0 to 10 for the good. So you can create this sort of thing. just put this thing in the graph on somewhere on the top, just put it there, and so that user can see this particular area. User should not be able to see the numbers which you have written here, otherwise this portion user should not see. Okay, so this is your basically the matrix. This is how the scorecard, you can write here the scorecard, right? So guys, now let's go and quickly check that. Now I'm on the performance 26. Now performance 26 is in the need improvement area, you know that, right? Because 11 to 30 is the need improvement area, and you can see here it falls under the need improvement area. Very nice, right? Previously it was not showing. Now let's say I say that I scored 50. So when you say scored 50, it definitely shows you in the mid of the code. That means half of the good area is covered, right? So but still we have to go and perform much better, because we have this entire good area coming here, and it somewhere stands in the good area, but it hasn't been really on the top of the good. So the moment I go and say that let's say 68, that 70 is the maximum score. After 70 we will be in the superb area. So let's go and check that. Can you see that? This is really wonderful, right? So now when you go and say that 70, you click here, and now you can see that it exactly shows this 70 on the good. So that means you are on the excellent side of the good. Maybe you can say that poor, need improvement, and then you can say that kind of okay, right? And then after okay you can write good and superb. I mean, you can bifurcate always these charts, right? You can further go and create more criteria. Now one thing you can further go, if you just want to create this needle, you want to further go and make it thinner, you just go and write here 0.5. 0.5 would be nothing, because after 70, if you remember, I told you that this basically is covering just the 0.5 area of this entire chart, which is coming with this percentage 70.5 and 129. So 0.5 will go further and make this line more thinner, and I really like that, right? So now you have the 70 here. The moment I write here 71, you see that anybody who's going to look at this graph, we start seeing that all right, so the performance is in the superb area, but in the superb area also we still have to do a lot of job, because this is just the beginning of the superb area. So what I'm trying to say is, when you go and make the matrix, you divide it into different segments, like very poor, needs improvement, doing good job, then you can write here good, or maybe very good, and then excellent, then superb, and then fantastic. So I mean, you can create lot of things here, right? So this is how the chart looks like. And finally, when you have the, let's say, a good very performance, let's say 99, you see that you are falling in the superb area, right? So this really works. Now when you go and say that I'm just on the 8, my performance is just the 8%, you should fall under the poor category. So you can see that I'm just about to cross the poor. So when the person looks at this, the person is going to look at this in this way, that oh, we are just actually going to the needs improvement area, right? So we are in the poor slab, but we are just on the verge of crossing it. That's how this speedometer talks. And the moment you just go and for example, you just go and write here 11, then you just get into the needs improvement area, and here you can push your team that look team. So people who look at the report, they would understand. If you sending this report to your call center associates, the agents, then they would, every time they look at this report and they say that all right, so we are actually in the needs improvement area. At least we are not in the poor area, but we really need to improve, right? So this way you can actually write here the performance. Now this performance you can write manually, or this can be taken from some formula. That depends. I do not know what calculation you are going to use, but guys, understand the concept. This was very important. You just can't go and just write the numbers. Everything has to be in a proper way, right? So this is how you can create the speedometer. In my next video also, I will go and talk more about the speedometer. Well, that would be a absolutely new chapter. In this chapter we discussed a lot of things, like we discussed in fact the science behind the speedometer. You don't need these the titles, so just go and delete this. That's how the speedometer should look like. And also you can remove this bordering area. Select this, right, and when you select this, right click and go to the the format chart area. So I click on the format chart area, and then in the format chart area, go to the border area and just say that I don't need any line. So you can see that no line, okay, and click outside, and now you can see that there is no line, right? If you look at the another chart, it has a border. This entire border is there, but this does not have any border. So you can go and quickly go and put this on the top or somewhere over here, right, depending upon your this how you're gonna show the spreadsheet. You can also double click here and you can minimize the ribbon. This can be done quickly with the help of the VBA, right? Just go and search in the Google how to hide the ribbons. There's just a one line command which you have to write in the workbooks open event. So what happens, I'm just trying to tell you that when people use the graphs, it is always sometimes a good habit to give the maximum view of the screen, okay? So so you can design all the things. So that's all guys, this is your speedometer. We have covered this in the 2 parts. I hope you have enjoyed this, a great journey. We have almost spent 1 hour on the speedometer. Next time I'll upload some more videos on the speedometers to give you more insight on that. Till then, you take care of yourself and have a fantastic learning. Thank you so much guys. Bye.